Hello everyone. This session is going to cover the basics of creating documents and sharing them in Google Drive. So you'll see right here I'm at google.com. The quickest way to get to Drive, you'll notice I'm logged in with my NIST account here on the right, is to go up to the top and click on Drive. Now what I'm seeing is the web interface of Google Drive, and this is an exact copy of my Google Drive folder on my computer. So we're going to start by creating just a really simple document. If you go up here and click on the Create button, you're going to get a couple of options. Now these options are pretty much the same options you get with Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, or Microsoft Excel, respectively. We're just going to go ahead and click on Document. What you're going to see is an interface very similar to Microsoft Word, which you probably have all used before. It's a much simpler interface, and it's very easy to use. You'll probably want to start by titling your document. So you'll go up to the top where it says Untitled Document, click here, and let's just call it Test. So now I have a document I've started, and this document is automatically saving. You'll see right up here it says All Changes Saved in Drive as I start to make changes. You'll see it says Saving All Changes Saved in Drive. One of the advantages of working in Google Drive is that it saves dynamically. What that means is it saves as you make changes. So you'll never have to click Save. You don't need to go to File, Save As. Google Drive does everything for you. And remember, everything is synced to the cloud. So if your hard drive crashes, you still have your document. So I've made this document and I want to share it. So there's a couple of different ways you can share things. You can share with individual people and you can share with groups of people. So we're going to go through both. And let's start by sharing this with maybe one of our peers. So you'll see in the top right corner it says Share. And when I hover over this button, it says it's now set to private and only I can access the document. Now that is the default. The default is that only you have access to the documents that you create unless you tell Google Drive that you want to share it with someone else. So when you click on the Share button, you're going to get a menu with a couple of different key options. The first thing you'll see here is a direct link to your document. If you give that link to somebody, they can access your document if you have your privacy settings set properly. You'll see right here, this list says who has access to the file. Again, by default, it's set to private, and I am set as the owner of the document. So sometimes you'll just want to share your documents with a single person. So maybe you want to share something they can read, or maybe you want to set the rights to where they can actually edit and collaborate with you on a project. So all you really need to do is go down to your Invite People box, and at NIST the email databases are set up very well. So if you start typing in a name of someone at NIST, you should be able to see that name pop up here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Mrs. Tiefel. And right next to this box, you have three options. You need to really think about what you want the other person to be able to do with this document. If you want them to be able to change it, make edits, just like you can, you leave this at Can Edit. If you want them to be able to add comments to your document but not actually change anything that you've done, you can write Can Comment. And lastly, if you just want them to be able to see the document but not make changes, you can set it to Can View. Okay? Let's assume this is a collaboration. I want Mrs. T to have full editing capability, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at Can Edit. This little checkbox here will send an email to the recipient letting them know that they have a document they can access. If you don't want to send that email, you can just uncheck the box, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And then you click Share and Save. So that sends an email to that person with a link to the file, and if they access their Google Drive, they can see that there's a file that's been shared with them. So now that you know how to share a single document with a single collaborator, there are some times where you're going to want to share with multiple people. If it's just a few people and you know their email addresses, the easiest thing to do is just enter them down here just like you did for the single user. You can put in as many email addresses or groups as you like and share with them all at once. But at NIST, one of the nice features of the way things are set up is that you can actually share with a fairly large group of people. So to do that, you want to make this access point here not set to private. Let's go ahead and see what our options are when we try to change this. So we have public on the web. You probably won't want to use this most of the time. This means that anybody can get into your document at any time. So really we want to avoid that one if possible. The second option is anyone that has the link to your document can get into it. That means they don't have to sign into Google Drive. You're probably not going to want to use this one much either, depending on what the document is. It's not as secure as some of the other options. The option that's most useful here at NIST is this one right here. people at NIST with the link. And basically what that means is that anybody that you provide the link to, but is also at NIST and logged in with their NIST account, can access it. That prevents people that have the link but are not at NIST with NIST accounts from getting into your document. So that's a very useful one to use for collaboration. So go ahead and check people at NIST with the link. And down here we have our same options. Do you want the group to be able to just view it, add comments, or edit it fully just like you do? So I'm going to go ahead and just leave this at can view. So I'm just going to send a document to a group, and I don't want them to be able to edit it. Okay? So basically right here we have access. Anyone at NIST can view this document. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save there. Now if you look at my list of users, Mrs. T is still there, and I have this link up here. Okay? So what I can do is just copy. So I'm going to go ahead and Control C. And then I'm going to hop into Veracross, and let's say I wanted to send this document or share it with my Digital Connections class. So I can go to Contact and Email Students. And that's going to open an email in Outlook. I, of course, have a title for my email, and I can paste the link directly in there. This will send this link to all of my Digital Connections students, and now that I've had changed the settings to anyone at NIST with the link, they will be able to access it and view it. So now you've seen just a few of the many options you have when it comes to sharing and collaborating in Google Drive. I'm going to go ahead and click Done here. To go back to your drive from your document, if you hover over the title of the document, a little arrow pops up here, and it's kind of like your back button. And now I'm back in my Google Drive. Now, if someone shares a document with you, most of the time you'll receive an email. But when you log into your Google Drive, it won't necessarily be here in my drive. You might have to click on Shared with Me to see the document. So these are all the documents that have been shared with me, but I have not copied them to my Google Drive. What that means is these documents are not stored on my computer. They're only in the cloud. So let's say, for example, this Year 7 laptop rollout missing items. This was a shared document, but I want to make sure there's a copy on my computer as well. So I just need to click on this little box next to it, and then click on Add to my drive. And what that does is it copies it to my drive, and now here's this document, and that's going to make a copy on my Google Drive folder on my laptop as well as in the cloud, so it's nice and backed up. A few tips about Google Drive. You can share any kind of document. If you wanted to create a presentation or a spreadsheet, you can share those just like you share any other documents. You have complete control over who can see it and who can edit it. But be very careful, because you can do things like share an entire folder, and that means whoever has access can see everything in the folder. So just be careful about who you share with, and always know what your goals are. If the person doesn't need to be able to make changes to it, then make sure you just set it to Can View. Or if you want them to add feedback but not change what you did, set it to Can Comment. So now that you've seen just a few of the basics, next time you have an assignment in class, try starting making your document in Google Drive instead of Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Excel. It makes it much easier to collaborate and share, and it also saves and backs up automatically to the cloud. Thanks for watching.